Let's talk about the Kyren Lacy tragedy from a different perspective this time, as the first time we talked about it in an emotional conversation that triggered the apologies from Ryan Clark, Scott Van Pelt, and Pat McAfee. And we highlighted more of the emotional, logical battle that they were going through and that balancing act. Well, this time I want to talk about it strictly by the physics, right? And I'm going to use football as a parallel, as the microcosm of life, to show us these elements and what happened on this tragic event on December 17th, 2024. So let's walk through this right now, because the reason I want to do this is because math is my favorite subject. And more importantly, when you talk about it in mathematical terms, physics, you start to get the tangibles from the intangibles, like in football, right? You start to look at things from a math versus English perspective. You start to think of things objectively versus subjectively. So one of the lessons I learned from football, and we're going to talk through this in terms of when you see all of the elements of an offensive play and it's coming at you crazy, right? And it's like motion, you got guys moving out of positions and everything is coming your way. Coach always says, simplify it. There's only two things they can do: run or pass. That's it. Run or pass. So all that other stuff, put it to the side and let's just get to the objective material of this case. So let's use our second brain. Kyren Lacy, car accident report and details. Here's a summation of it. Some facts remain disputed and under investigation. So I'm not here to declare what exactly happened, but using what has been told, what is of evidence, let's start to have a more objective observation of this situation. Okay, so the crash occurred on Louisiana Highway 20, Chack Bay, Louisiana. It took place around midday, noon. Kyren Lacy was reported to be driving a 2023 Dodge Charger, the green-colored Charger we saw. Crash involved, chain reaction crash, a northbound pickup truck that reportedly braked and swerved to avoid the Charger. Okay, that doesn't get highlighted enough. I don't think a lot of people speak of that one. They usually start here with the 2017 Kia Cadenza traveling behind the pickup. Okay, so it was behind the pickup. So somebody reacted before even the Kia reacted. And that driver allegedly swerved left to avoid a Charger, and in doing so, crossed the center line. All right, so now we're going to get to a collision. In 2017 Kia Sorento, which was struck head on by the Cadenza coming the other way as a result of that left cross. So Herman Hall, 78 years old, was a passenger in a Sorento and later died from his injuries. Now, I did a video before, and you can see this if you want to go back for some visuals, but this one, I want to really keep it objective. Let's just keep it strict. So imagine you're going this way, if you're Herman Hall, and then another car is going this way. It stops, it swerves, and another car behind it crosses the center line. Bow. That's the collision, okay? Simple visuals here. Louisiana State Police alleged Lacy was recklessly passing multiple vehicles in a no passing zone, crossing the center line into oncoming traffic. His driving is claimed to not have physically impacted other vehicles, but to have triggered a reaction from the pickup and Cadenza, which led to the collision chain. After the crash, investigators say he fled the scene and did not stop to render aid or report his involvement. So summation right there. And this is from his lawyer as well. He passes up 4 cars in the wrong lane, okay? So this road is one lane this way, one lane this way. And you're going this way, and now you're in the wrong lane, and then you get back into your lane, okay? We're going to go through this. Not going to take too long either. January 10th, 2025, arrest warrant. So this is like a month or so after for Lacy. Charge him with negligent homicide, felony, hit and run with death, reckless operation of a vehicle. He booked on bail, released videos, surveillance, and reconstruction data to support their position while they made those claims. Okay, now this is where a lot of the dust got kicked up recently because Lacy's attorney, Matthew Ory, contested the state's narrative. He claimed Lacy's Charger was too far behind the crash at the moment of impact, reporting 72.6 yards in some statements, and that by then it had moved back into its proper lane. Okay, I'm going to get back to that. He cited a DA's report which says supports Lacy's non-involvement in the collision proper. That means he wasn't actually colliding with another vehicle, which we all saw in the video, although acknowledging that he had previously passed cars illegally. Okay, this is huge right there. We're coming back. October 2025, new video evidence was released by the state police aiming to refute the defense's claims, arguing that the charges maneuvering did initiate the chain of events that led to the fatal crash. Okay, now we're getting into the part that I really want to highlight, the physics and the football part of it, okay? So, I think a lot of people, and look, I don't know how smart you are. Some of you guys out there smarter than me by a lot. Some of you guys are not smart and not as smart as me by a lot. Whatever it is, wherever you are, you have to understand that this conversation needed to go and travel through a few different courses, right? And one of them is the physics. You have to be able to measure closing speed. Okay, so if you're going on this same road northbound, you have a 40 mile per hour speed limit. And if you're going southbound, 40 mile per hour speed limit. However, we are not going with the trusted flow of traffic anymore, right? Because if Kyren Lacy is now in the opposing lane, the opposite lane, crossing the center line, which means he's now in your lane, closing speed matters because I'm going, let's say 40 miles an hour. You're going reportedly up to 88 miles an hour, they said. We're going to talk a little bit of football. I'm going to bring this all to football and sports to hopefully clarify and crystallize it for those out there, no matter your level of intelligence. But if you never took physics, just raise your hand. It's okay. I took physics before twice. And more importantly, this comes in, and when you really get to the numbers, you start to see, whoa, this thing happened fast. It happened fast. Okay, so they get into what happened afterwards, which is not really what I want to highlight, but obviously he 2 days before a scheduled grand jury hearing on the accident, Lacy died in Houston, apparent suicide. He had an argument with a family member, fired a shot in the ground, drove off, had an attempted traffic stop, the police pursuit over several miles, so he went on a police chase, and then the pursuit ended with a crash. Inside the vehicle, a gun was recovered. Authorities say Lacy died from a self-inflicted gunshot prior to the crash. Okay, now let's get to this. How fast was he driving? They say 88 miles an hour is the highest I've seen, okay? We're working with what they gave us. Please, if you found something else, let's run the numbers with that as well. However, it's important to note that the estimate is disputed. That's why I'm trying to bring it up. I am not trying to say this with conviction. I'm just trying to get us somewhere. I'm trying to move the ball up the field, okay? Several inconsistencies in the Louisiana State Police report and suggest that Lacy may have been back in his lane and some distance from the collision when it occurred. That doesn't really refute his speed. It just says, hey, no matter how fast he was going, he got back into his lane. So, hey, let's forget the speed. But we're not going to forget the speed right now because it matters. So I think I should illustrate this. If you ever been on a football field, okay, football matters because this is not basketball. If you run into me in basketball, stop the play, I get a foul shot or two, I'm sitting there at the free throw line, we stop play. In football, that's part of the game. So closing speeds matter. Every football player is running physics in their head to have closing speed, to understand it. So I want to know right now, how long, if I'm going 88 miles an hour, right? At one time, I'm going 88 miles an hour in your lane, and you're doing the speed limit, 40 miles an hour coming at me. What is that distance between us and the speed, the closing speed, okay? How long before impact between two cars traveling towards each other at 88 and 40 miles an hour? That at one time occurred, right? We want to see. Now, I don't know if this is going to be the final impact. We're going to get there, but just walk with me, okay? I'm not going to nerd y'all out. They did all the work for us. Thank you. So if they're 92 yards apart, remember he said he got back into the lane as far as 92 yards apart and as close as 72 yards at impact. So 92 yards, he's back in his lane, 72 yards at impact. That's what we've heard from the attorney, okay? Well, if two cars are driving directly toward each other, one at 88 miles an hour and the other at 40 miles an hour, and they start 92 yards apart, they will collide in approximately 1.47 seconds. So that's the closing speed. Like, you got 1.5 seconds and whoop, y'all hit each other, okay? if those are the accurate numbers. We can play with them all, but trust me, it's going to be all around 1.5 seconds. Some a little, if you're going faster or they're going faster, it's going to be shorter than 1.5 seconds, 147. If not, it's going to go a little bit above, but never over 2, okay? So you got, we're going to get there. They say that's barely enough time for a driver even to register the threat, much less react. So I'm going to do something with my phone right now, and y'all tell me, you walk through it with me at the same time. Your reaction speed, your closing speed, how you react to closing speeds. So imagine you're driving, and remember, I did this about 2 months ago about the trust of driving in the flow of traffic, how you always are trusting that even if you're the center lane, that other lane that's going the opposite way of you, you trust they're going to stay there. You don't even think about it, really. Like, your trust is so much, you almost blindly trust them. And when you see somebody coming directly at you, think about the times you've seen somebody directly coming at you in the wrong lane. Once, 2, like, even when it happens, you're like, whoa. You're like, what? Like, your trust is broken, and then your reaction has to kick in. Good luck with that in 1.5 seconds. But here's the thing. So imagine you're driving, regular old driving, everything's going smooth, and then you're like, whoa, somebody coming at me. That's it. Y'all caught that? Do it again. One more time. Right, whatever you're doing. Oh, look at that, nice car. Oh, somebody coming at me. 1.46. I ain't got a lot of y'all. Now, in football, when that happens, you got to make decisions super fast, okay? So let's look at this. What I'm respecting all parties involved here. What if they both were going the speed limit? Okay? You get to 235, but we all know that when he was passing cars, it wasn't the speed limit. So 2.35. Reason I brought that up is because there was a moment where one driver in the front saw Kyren Lacy coming at a rapid speed up to 88 miles an hour. And in that moment, you don't have the time that you think you have to do all the things that people are suggesting online or in response to this. Let's be real. As I turn on my fan, because I'm heating up on here. So remember, you, like in football, like in the drills, like when we do Oklahoma drills, band, when you see someone coming at you in the wrong lane and you don't have another lane as an option, you also don't truly have braking as an option in your mind because you're not getting out the path of danger. So think about it. You can't swerve, because if you swerve, I'm in the wrong lane going the other way, or I'm off the road. You can't brake because they're coming so fast, I'm going to still be in the path of danger. They're going to end up hitting me, I'm thinking. So what do? Obviously, you brake and swerve. You do the two things you can't do, really, because there's no options. There's nothing else you can do. And that's why you have these type of collisions. And that's why the laws say do not cross that center line, because not only will there be a potential collision, but there could be a chain reaction in fear because the trust was broken by the flow of traffic. And now, what do I do? I think that's the case against them in this situation. They're trying to say that, look, Kyren Lacy, he did get back. And in getting back, he's now so far behind, you're like, oh, he didn't do that. But what he did happened before he got back. I just showed you 1.47 seconds, way back there, 92 yards away. You can go even further. You're gonna be in the same range. We can keep playing with the numbers. Point being, you better be there. You better make a reaction. So I used it on, like, in the football sense, because I've been in that moment so many times, more so obviously than behind the wheel. But in those moments when you see somebody closing in on you, and I'm talking about, they said on a football field, one car going 88. Imagine you are sitting there watching a football field like this, and these are the end zones. And you see one car enter the end zone at 88 miles an hour, and another car enter the end zone at 40 miles an hour. And then this car says, I'm braking and I'm getting back in my lane, so I'm no longer a threat to you. But what did this car see and react to? That is not a lot of time. That is not a lot of distance. And I think that's the case that they're putting against them. So by the physics of it, which triggers all the other responses, right? What do I do? How do I do it? What do I do? That's where they're trying to say that Kyren Lacy was negligent. Simple as that. So I want to know what you guys think about that. I thought it was fascinating to know by the numbers. That's all you got. And that ain't that long, especially when your trust is broken in the flow of traffic. So beat it up in the comments. Let me know what you think. The last part about it is, it's just sad that so many other perspectives and emotions and agendas have entered this instead of it being simple. But that's what human beings do. That's what we do. We get into something and we make it a little more difficult than it has to be. So hopefully you guys come here for some level of balance and, more importantly, try to make real situations sound real instead of faking it. All right, love for you guys. Beat it up in the comments. Let me know what you think.
Yo, let me put you up on game. Americans lost $12.5 billion to scams last year. Don't think it can't happen to you. That's why I roll with today's sponsor, Aura. Think of them like an all-pro safety. Rodney Harrison, Brian Dawkins, always watching. Aura monitors all 3 credit bureaus, alerts you to fraud up to 250 times faster, and backs you with $1 million in identity theft insurance, plus 24/7 support. Lock down your credit, clean up your data, protect all your devices, all in one app. Hit aura.com/Marcellus Wiley. That's aura.com/Marcellus Wiley, or the link in my description for a 14-day free trial. Stay safe. Keep your identity yours. Let's go.
Let me put you on to something that's part of my daily routine now. VINIA. Not a powder, not a pill.
It's the Daily Chews 2X formula. And yeah, they taste good too.
It's plant-based. No stimulants, no crash, no jitters, no banned substances, no junk. It's Informed Sports certified. Just something that actually delivers. Link in description. VINIA.com/Marcellus. Discount code Marcellus10 for a 10% discount. Wow.
Become a gym member with Project Transition. As a giver every month, small gifts have a big impact in creating real change. Not only will you transform lives, you'll also win and unlock once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Join me, Marcellus Wiley, in making a real impact through Project Transition, a global giving community dedicated to uplifting underserved youth with mentorship, education, and access to real opportunities. Your donation doesn't just enter you to win unforgettable prizes and exclusive experiences with myself and other gym members. It fuels our mission to empower the next generation of leaders, dreamers, and game changers. From after-school programs, life skills camps, and career development, every dollar helps unlock potential where it's needed most and where every person makes a world of difference. Give back, win big, be the difference, be greater than your greatest excuse. Support Project Transition today. Become a gym member and help turn obstacles into opportunities.
It's been a decade plus that I knew that this day was going to come.
Oh, this is not hyperbole here.
Because I believe the verse.
Time to hydrate. Hydration's the situation, so